Coming up next on the Conscious Courage podcast.
Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God, and I will strengthen you. I will help you, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. You are stronger than what you think. You are worthy of healthy love, and you are not alone.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Conscious Courage podcast, where we empower your mindset, refresh your spirit, and ignite your purpose. Hey, y'all. I'm your host, Davone'a, resilience coach, speaker, and advocate for your internal glow up. Here on this show, we dive deep into real conversations. So let's embark on this journey together. But before we get started, I need you to grab your pen, journal, and potentially a Kleenex, because you don't know what's going to come out, okay, during these here episodes and conversations. But I do want you to know this thing here, and that is through faith, focus, and courage, you can and you will transform your life. Just be patient with yourself. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah. Hey, I want to know, how are you enjoying the conversation thus far? For the month of February, we focused on healthier relationship outcomes, and I want to continue. So let me start by saying this. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you. If you're returning, hi, family. I know I'm doing some things differently. Every month previously, I would bring you a new topic, but in this year, I want to try something new, and that is keeping the conversation going and flowing, which is why I started off with, how are you enjoying the conversation thus far? Everything centered around relationships being better internally, to show up better and improved and healthier outwardly, having the conversations that maybe you participate in private, or you never thought to discuss green flags versus red flags, or even how you show up in a relationship and how that could be your own hindrance, as I discovered in my conversation with Mrs. Isabella Osborne. So if you missed that, episodes 39 and 40, I will have those attached. I want to say it'll pop up here, but later on in the video. So you have to watch this video to see that clip. Make sure that you come back every first and third Monday of the month to catch new episodes. Follow and stay tuned with what's happening on the Conscious Courage podcast by going to @CC Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, as well as X. And ensure you subscribe, hit the bell button, like this video and you enjoy it, and share it with 2 to 3 to 30 people. You know what I'm saying? But let me go ahead and jump on into today's topic. Today, we are focused on breaking free, okay? We are going to discuss gaslighting, manipulation, the warning signs, recognizing the emotional as well as mental and the physical and psychological I can't even say the word. So let's go ahead and dive into today's conversation, and that is centered around gaslighting, control, and manipulation. The signs that you are in an emotionally abusive relationship. Okay, y'all ready? Grab your pen, grab your journal, a Kleenex in case you need it, as I mentioned in the introduction, and let's get into today's very real conversation. So, quick disclaimer, this episode and the episode that follows has the potential of bringing to the surface unhealed trauma, unhealed wounds, unhealed forgiveness. And so I want you to prepare yourself with a couple of resources, and then we'll cycle on through these notes that I have for us today. So some immediate support and hotlines. I don't know why that thumbs up is there, okay, to keep us encouraged. The National Domestic Violence Hotline for the United States is 1-800 799-SAFE. That is 1-800-799-7233. Or you can visit www.thehotline.org. There's also RAIN, which is abbreviated for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. That is 1-800-656-HOPE. 1-800-656-4673. Or you can visit www.rain, that's 2ns.org. You can also reach out to therapy and support groups. So there's BetterHelp, which is an online therapy platform, Psychology Today, domestic shelters, and faith-based counseling. I have no connections, no contracts with any of these helplines that I just provided you with. I simply want to ensure that you have the necessary information readily available in case you need to use one of the helplines. I had an experience in my life in which I did use one of the helplines as an outlet, as a way to vent, as a way to think through the process of what I had experienced before discussing it with family. You know, sometimes you have traumatic experiences, depending. So let me not project to you all how I handled it. But for me, it was talking about, well, in a sense, talking about it. And for those out there who may not have that safe space, or you don't want to share that experience that you had, it was easy for me to have the first conversation with a stranger. And I thought that was not a liberating, but a moment for me to release everything initially. And I want to ensure that you have some resources readily available to you so that if need be, you can make that call prayerfully. You will not need to. There are a couple of books that I will share at the end. I have not read these books, just in preparing myself for this conversation and wanting to ensure that you walk away with some resources. I found a couple that I will suggest, but at the end of this video. Hopefully I remember. So many people, they suffer in relationships, whether it's in their mind or emotionally. And there are the unfortunate experiences of manipulation. They're drained emotionally, they're drained mentally, and potentially controlled. And sometimes the hardest part is recognizing that it's happening to you. Even harder, recognizing that you are the perpetrator and bringing this kind of agony onto someone else. I know what it's like to care for someone. I don't want to use the word love loosely. So to care for someone and lose myself in the process. And just an example, having a conversation, voicing how I'm feeling, and the individual saying, oh, you're overreacting. Oh, you're overthinking it. Oh, I didn't mean it that way. Oh, I hear you, but, and then justifying their behavior, what they said, etc. Or even like the love bombing, like does something wrong and then immediately it's, can I take you out to eat? Let's go on a trip. Something along the lines to try and get you off of what transpired. Let me say this here. Okay, that experience took place in some years ago, but a great moment for me to learn from. And the first time that I walked away, and in walking away, I said like, oh my gosh, I'm proud of myself. I stood up for myself. I am putting me first. I am drawing the line, and this is the boundary. And yeah, deuces. In that situation, I showed up humbly as I could because I wanted to rectify and prove, not to anyone else, but to myself, like I am a wife. I am a great person because I was so withdrawn in a relationship previously that I gave so much to a person that had not earned that form of respect, that form of humility, that form of submission. And thus, the male did not appreciate it. And it wasn't until our paths crossed again a few years later where I allowed that person to enter into my life by way of
phone conversation, or excuse me, by way of meeting up at least once and then just having a phone conversation. And they were so apologetic, like in the same way I learned a lesson about boundaries and reserving that soft side and everything that I just described for the right person. That individual learned how to receive and hold on and appreciate a good thing when there. And actually said, like, I am the standard. And I was like, wow. But still, I had to keep my boundary in knowing that does not mean that you will have access, or that he will have access to my time, my emotions, my mental health, any of those things ever again. No one should have access to your mental health, by the way. That's why you have boundaries. But it just taught me a lot, and in the same way taught that individual something. Now, that took a little longer than necessary. Let's get on into today's topic on unpacking and what emotional, mental, and psychological abuse looks like, as well as why people stay, even when they know it's toxic, and how to recognize the signs and break free. The break free part stands out to me. There was this time I was younger, like, I give these examples and it isn't as if I've been in a plethora of relationships, y'all. So I just kind of pull from the same experience. But there was a gentleman I was dating. We crossed paths in high school. We both played sports. Well, both ran track, which is a sport. Both ran track. He also played football, and I love football. I don't watch it like I used to, but I love sports in general. I'll watch anything. I would love to go to a soccer game. That's something I haven't done, and I want to go. But I love football, and I would go to his games while in high school. The school that he went to played almost on a college level, so it was always exciting and just great energy. And eventually, when he went off to college and I stayed back home and I attended a junior college, our paths crossed. And I was like, Lord, I literally remember this. Like, I do not want to like this man because he's going off to college somewhere else. I'm not interested in dating. Long story short, well, here we go. Okay. We end up, as the people would say nowadays, talking. And fast forward, this person gets picked up and he's in the NFL. And it's during the time that we are talking relationship, whatever it is, right? And why am I bringing this up for the break free part? So how exciting is it as someone who loves sports to now be in a relationship with a man that is a professional athlete? Like, this is phenomenal, right? But I always knew, and I kept myself in check, that 1, this is his career and his accomplishment. 2, it is his money. And 3, allow him to celebrate and experience this at least for the first year before trying to follow behind him. So that's what I did. When he was picked up for the team that he was picked up for, and he moved, and people were like, are you excited to move with him? And I was like, he has to go out and explore and just experience and celebrate at least the first couple months, his first season, something along those lines, before I throw myself out there, because I still have goals, dreams, and ambitions as well. Well, good thing I had that thought, because, well, Buddy had him a good time. Okay. When you give someone that kind of spotlight and that sort of blessing financially, and they move away from home and it's just a different dynamic, you see, I won't say a different side, but you see someone enjoying themselves. And so I reached a point in which I said, okay, either I will remain in this or I need to let this go, because what I desire, the monogamy and the family and the settling down, I will not receive from this person as
he is exploring and living his best life. And what helped me to break free? To break free from the, oh, well, I could be an NFL wife, or, oh, how exciting is it going to be to go to all of these games and like cheer him on and just be his number one cheerleader, right? And meal prep and ensure that he's doing what's necessary to keep himself healthy and fit and just be that support, be that helpmate, right? I had to break away from that. And what helped me, and you'll figure out what helps you, that was seeing when there was a popular celebrity relationship. One gentleman, rapper, singer, songwriter, actor, young man, first name starts with the C, last name starts with the B. Y'all can figure it out. And then there was Coochie. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Did y'all catch that? And when she walked away, it helped me to walk away. And I was like, wow, if she can walk away having invested everything that she did and who knows what came with it, I can walk away too. And that was my moment of breaking free. And you'll figure out what your moment is. So I'm breaking this up into a couple segments. Let's clear something up. Abuse is not only physical, hence why we are diving into the mental as well as emotional abuse that is out there. If someone is controlling or manipulating or even emotionally damaging you, that is abuse. And this goes for both men and women. Emotional abuse, they tear you down mentally and emotionally. It's constant belittling, shaming, or using love as a weapon. It's your food is not well. You don't look great today. You think you look good. That haircut is not it. Oh, you so ugly. Something along those lines. There are other words out there. You'll never amount to anything. No one will ever want you after I'm done with you. No one will ever marry you with all of those children. No one will ever marry you with that scar or call you handsome, call you beautiful. Mental abuse, this is gaslighting. So this is making you question your own reality. If you've ever heard that never happened. I didn't hit you. I didn't say that. What? When you know you did, that's mental abuse. We've never talked about that. And then there is the psychological abuse, the coercion or control, manipulating your emotions so that you feel powerless and stuck. No one will ever want you. No one will ever talk to you again. No one will ever believe you.
Ad break. Are you seeking an electrifying speaker to ignite transformation in your audience? Well, look no further. Hi, I'm Davone'a, real estate investor, Air Force veteran, and host of the Conscious Courage podcast, where new episodes are released every Monday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via YouTube and all streaming audio platforms. I specialize in delivering impactful keynote speeches that inspire change and elevate your minds. Whether it's a virtual gathering or an in-person event, I bring passion, expertise, and a unique delivery to every arena or every environment that I'm in. Let's captivate your audience together and create an unforgettable experience. Contact me today to book your next event, and let's embark on this journey of transformation, or let's get all of your attendees on this journey toward internal glow up. You can book me via my website by going to www.davoneatashay.com. I'll spell that for you. It is www.DAV as in Victor, ONEATASHAE.com. I look forward to connecting with you. Take care.
Second half is, why do people stay? So I don't know if you're guilty of this or have ever said, well, why did he stay? Why did she stay? Well, there's something called trauma bonding, and let's talk about it. This is the addiction cycle of abuse, y'all. So the abuse isn't always cruel. In fact, they can be incredibly loving right after they hurt you. And that's what keeps you hooked. So the example here is, it's like a slot machine. You keep pulling the lever, hoping for the moment that you will get good, that you will get that return. And you have to keep pulling and you have to keep pulling. No matter how many times it happens, you're like, but she said sorry, but he said sorry, but they said it'll never happen again. I still remember our first date. I still remember that vacation, and you're pulling that slot machine until you get to experience that first date experience again, or until you go on that next vacation. There's also the invisible chains of control. Fear of being alone. Well, what if I never find someone else? There's also the fear of retaliation. What if they hurt me if I leave? And then there's the fear of starting over. Where do I even begin? I had a friend who was once afraid to leave because she had built her whole life around this person. And she didn't know who she was outside of the relationship. And that's exactly what psychological abuse does. It strips you of your own identity. Maybe you or someone you know identifies with low self-esteem. So that's when you no longer recognize your own worth, your self-esteem. When someone constantly tells you that you're not enough, you start to believe it. For an example, you imagine planting a flower, but you never water it. So over time, it wilts. And you start to believe that's just the way it is. That's what emotional abuse does. It drains the life out of you. And then there's the hope for change. So that is the false belief that one day it'll all get better. One day this will change. This will get different. Understanding more, forgiving, and having the gumption to walk away. Okay? Maybe they'd stop hurting me, but the truth is, you cannot love someone into treating you right. Love yourself, treat you right. Put the boundaries in place. Now I want to give you a couple of signs for you to look for, common signs in psychological abuse as well as emotional. You feel like you're always walking on eggshells. Oh, that's not a comfortable feeling. They belittle you or insult you continuously. They gaslight you, making you doubt your own reality, your own feelings, your own thoughts and emotions, your own experiences. They control who you talk to, where you go, and what you do. And they use silence, guilt, or affection as a weapon. If any of these sound familiar, it's time to reassess your relationship, have the conversation, work through it if you can. Which brings me to this point. So how do you break free? I gave you the example on how I broke free in my early 20s, right? How I found the gumption through a story of watching a celebrity couple split. I shared with you the experience I had. First narcissist ever. First and last. And I recognized my worth and myself and the importance of boundaries. And if that meant I had to walk away, baby, I was leaving. And what really helped me also was my relationship with God. I remember going to church. This was after I had cut everything off. Block. That's the first time I think I used block feature on everywhere and in everything. And biggity blocked. Okay, if I could buy stock in block, I would have bought stock in blocking. I just cried out to God and I asked him to remove all memory, remove any soul ties, all soul ties, bondage, rejection, brokenness that came from the experience, any kind of mental turmoil, emotional turmoil, mental. And I kid you not, when I saw that person, the first time just in passing, I sincerely was so proud of everything that individual had accomplished. And there was no malice, no hatred, no unforgiveness, no dislike or discord. And that is through the mighty hand of the Lord. And it's also very liberating and freeing when you're able to walk and can go and have a conversation with someone. And there's no bad blood. Because as I've said previously, not in this episode, But as I spoke about unforgiveness in previous episodes earlier in the podcast, unforgiveness is like taking a pill that is poisonous and expecting it to affect the person that you have yet to unforgive. You're harboring those emotions, and it only damages you as they have moved on with their life. Even if they think about it. Because if they're doing it from a place of a wound, and they may not recognize it, or they may intentionally do it to make themselves feel better. So you harboring those emotions does nothing to them, but does everything to you. Let it go. Forgive. Pray. Write it out. Have the conversation. Send the email if you need to, or the text message, and then turn around and block. You can block text, email, phone calls. You can block on social media. Block. Restraining order if necessary. Do what you need to do. Use those helplines that I provided earlier on in this episode. So how do you break free? You acknowledge the truth. Abuse is not in any form just hitting. If your spirit feels broken, that's enough. You find support, therapy, friends, family, counseling, church. Rebuild your self-worth. Healing starts with remembering who you are. Set boundaries, okay? You stop explaining, you stop excusing. You don't need permission to leave. And if you feel as if you do, leave. Seek professional help. And that's okay, because sometimes we need the guidance on how to break away. If you're listening right now and this is hitting home and you want just a listening ear, reach out. Know that you deserve love. You deserve to love yourself. You deserve to be in an environment where you are loved and where you will flourish and where you will have faith and you will focus and you will have courage. And love does not hurt. And when you have reached that point, baby, it's time to reassess. Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10 reads, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God, and I will strengthen you. I will help you, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. You are stronger than what you think. You are worthy of healthy love, and you are not alone." Let me go ahead and give you a couple of resources, books that you can read, as I mentioned earlier on in this here episode. Again, I have not read these books, but Set Boundaries and Find Peace. This is by Nedra Glover Tawa, and it's all about establishing healthy boundaries. Excuse me if I butchered that name. The Body Keeps the Score. This is about understanding trauma and its long-term effects. This book is by Basel Evan der Kolk. The Emotionally Destructive Relationship, which is by Leslie Vernick. This is a Christian-based healing from toxic relationship reading. And why does he do that? By Lundy Bancroft. A must-read on abusive mindsets and manipulation. If this episode spoke to you, please share it. Someone out there needs to hear this today. You are loved. You are worthy. You was born on purpose, with a purpose. You were destined to be here, as it is written in Deuteronomy. Rise up, because you are blessed. You are the child of the Most High God, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Follow the Conscious Courage Podcast at CC Podcast with DT. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to www.davoneatashay.com. That's www.davoneatashae.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell so that you get those reminders. Like this video. Comment below some takeaways or even your own experiences and what helped you walk away. Don't forget to keep your faith and stay focused, as well as be courageous. Because with all three, you can and you will transform your life. Stay courageous, stay focused, stay blessed. Again, we meet here every first and third Monday, so I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. Take care. Disclaimer: as a content creator with a background in psychology and ongoing studies, it's imperative that I note and clarify that I am not a licensed professional. The videos and podcasts I produce are intended for educational, entertainment, and transformational purposes only. While I strive to provide accurate information and insights, it's essential to consult with a licensed mental health clinician or a licensed mental health professional for clinical perspectives and personalized advice tailored to your specific needs. Your mental well-being is of the utmost importance to me, and seeking guidance from a qualified provider is encouraged for any concerns or issues that you may be experiencing.